Yo, what is going on, everybody? Hope you are well. I just want to talk about a comment I've had on the YouTube video. I want to explore this stuff a little bit more because I can understand there is a resistance here. So I'm going to just show you, we've had a great comment from a guy called Adeposit, and this is their main account. Platinum 3 Div 3 in 1s and Champ 2 Div 1 in 2s. Now, they originally said this will not work. Playing slow does not work in the higher ranks. And again, we are playing slow, but also we're just proving how powerful the fundamentals are by playing slow. I want to show you a game from Champ 3 because obviously they're Champ 2, so I'm going to show you a Champ 3 game here. And I'm going to point out the things that I'm saying that just the average Champ 3 does. I'm not showing their names because obviously I don't want, this to come back on them or to get any hate. So I have said that I think the second man should not go out into the corner to pick up the ball like this. They should go into the net here. Because if they go into the corner, what happens is when it's bouncing especially, it's volatile. You have no protection at the net, and this is so difficult to hit these balls. You have to be extremely mechanical. And like you can see just how difficult that is at this rank, okay? And it will be difficult for Grand Champs, GC2s, it will be difficult. So what you've got to do here is just not go into the corner because you're not going to win this. And even if this ball is hit by this player, it's going to go into the middle. So if second man is in the middle, one, when the miss happens, they can just smash it in. And two, if they hit it, they can just smash it in. But the second man, like, again, what I've been disagreeing with, is really wide here. But this works because this player is going into the corner. If this player played the statistics and instead waited here, if this player carried on the ball, they could challenge them. But look, they could hit the ball now and there is a wide open net like there has been through all of my series. Okay, and that's why we get, through Champ 3 and into Grand Champ as well. Because it happens at all the ranks. But this isn't an isolated incident. Now, that is just a fundamental thing that I've been saying. Okay, now if we go ahead to the next goal, what you'll find again is the main thing I'm talking about is first man rotating and second man pushing out. So this is the second man of the orange team right here. Now, they're pushing forward, but why? Because by pushing forward, they now have to face this way. Whereas if they started facing this way and they're in net, they're now safe. And what could happen is when this player lands, even though they shouldn't have just dove in like that, they could grab, turn here and hover towards the net, which forces this player to go high or low, whatever. And this player in the net can easily jump up and just hit that ball with a flip. And it can definitely be done at Champ 3, guys. Trust me. It's much I mean, look how mechanical these Champ 3s are now. It's actually crazy. But look. Loads of spinning and stuff. Do you know what I mean? They almost score an own goal because they've got space behind them to be hit. Like, it's mad how mechanical the players are now. But you can do that. If you can do that, you could do that as a Champ 3. Let's go to the next main goal here. Here we go. Again, second man pushing forward. Now, my argument is if the ball's in the corner, second man should go into deep net. This way, they can defend the ball as it comes at the net here. I could then go and dive on it because it's much easier to read. And I can take that challenge and I can turn sideways. What happens though is the second men, they just got demoed. They just drive to the side here, which means they can get hit around because they're basically trying to time a perfect outplay. And because the first man dove in, you can see him on the wall, which I keep telling people not to do. Even if this demo happens, it doesn't make a difference because their second man will still be able to clean it up, which is exactly what's been happening through the series. But there's another goal on this. So this player's going for an aerial, but they're going from the other side of the map, which it's good. But if we go early, this can mean that, we basically hit the ball away from them, fair, but we also hit the ball away from ourselves, which means that their second man gets the ball. Now, the fundamental here, what I've been saying, and like what I did when I did all my SPSS statistics, okay, and I had that whole spreadsheet, and I used the Shapiro-Wilks normalization stuff to see that it was statistically significant, which it was if you dive into the corner or dive in as last man, especially if you dive in as last man in the corner, there is the chance of there being a goal after. I wish I still had the stats. is ridiculously high, because if you lose it, which you most likely will, the net is wide open. It's literally wide open, that net. Okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. If we go back to that replay at the start, this is this replay. You think... You're probably thinking, yeah, but they're not mechanical. Well, this is actually Zen, guys. I lied to you. These are the best players in the world. So, Zen goes into the corner, and because he's in the corner, and this literally was yesterday, he can't hit the ball. Well, he's the most mechanical player in the world, isn't he? What's your reasoning for not listening to what I'm telling you? I got the stats, guys. I got the stats, mate. Yeah, it doesn't work. And even if he hits it, it's a goal because he's hitting the ball into the corner. And again, this is also another thing because Vatira is diving forward as first man, even though they've got no boost, so they can't recover. These are just fundamentals. Now, what you're going to tell me is you're going to tell me, yes, but pros don't play to win. They play to get more mechanical. And then my argument would be, well, then in that case, why are you copying them? Why are you copying them? That is what I'd like to know. So, guys, I had the statistics. I'm going to get the statistics, and I was going to do that today. For some reason, I downloaded a load of replays. They're not loading. I've never seen anything like it. Now, to echo that last statement, I want to show you one of the other replays that is working. Hold on. And that is this one here. So this one works. Don't know why. Some of them don't work. And I want to show you something. This is 10 years old, and Jacob is the pro here. Now, what I often tell you guys is majority of goals will come off counters, and here's a perfect example. So they're in our half with 0 boost. Now, Jacob rotates, and at the time this made sense that people would rotate because everyone was so bad mechanically, people couldn't drive towards the camera, towards their net and shadow. It was too difficult. So people used to have to just dive on the ball. And people felt that they needed 100 boost so that when they dive, if it works, they've got enough boost to control it, score. And if it doesn't, they've got enough boost to get back. That is all well and good when the general mechanics of the game were pretty low. And people saw this working. And again, with I suppose in freeze, it kind of makes sense. Now, what you had is you had a team called BDS come along, and they started cutting in on their rotations, and they dominated everyone. And everyone said they were really quick. And it was a speed that was doing it. But actually, they weren't the fastest players on the pitch. It was their strategy was different. So their rotation was different. And they weren't rotating. So they were on the ball sooner, but they weren't moving faster. Essentially, they were more efficient. And this is what you see in the high ranks. You see players very efficient, but they still make the fundamental errors. And like I say, these are fundamentals, and if you break them, it happens. There's no surprise that the only time there's goals in those pro games are pretty much from fundamental errors occurring. I haven't cherry-picked that replay. I could have done it with any replay. And to prove a point, if you message Dreamy, who's a great guy, I was having a chat with him yesterday, and he said, I've got great, I feel like my game sense is good, but I can't seem to win. I said, because you're following up too much as second man, and you're going too wide. I said, name any pro, and you can ask him. And he said, Zen. I said, okay, and I got the first replay. And I said, I guarantee the first goal comes because second man leaves the net and goes into the corner. And that was that play you saw with Zen missing the ball. Not cherry picked at all. You could do that with any replay. I would literally show you with as many replays as I could if they worked. But I want to show you this. So what happens is Jacob cuts off the front post, similar to Monkey Moon, right? Although Jacob's first man, so he's a little bit more entitled to do so. But he cuts off this front post, which means that ball can be played sort of behind him. And this player as second man, instead of going into this position, curves as well, and they leave the front post open. And this is all Rocket League is. Okay, because no one has changed in 10 years, it's all the same. Now, the reason I think this is because the people who played at this rank, or were pros back in the day, are now coaches. But they're not statisticians, if I can say that 3 times, I'm doing well. And they're not actual analysts, really. They're not like professional analysts. No offense to them. They're probably doing a good job of putting 2 and 2 together, but they're not that's not their job. They don't do that and spend hours and hours doing that every day. So sometimes they may miss some of the correlations. And yeah, okay, you go, but correlation isn't causation. But you could do a Bradford Hill causation test to get some pretty good data to prove this, and that's what I want to do, when I can get into these replays moving forward, and they're going to go in my book. But so you've got older players who played in an older style that isn't really conducive to today's game, because if you actually, now we have such a big data pool on ballchasing.com, we can analyze the stats and prove that stuff is no longer relevant. And the stuff I'm telling you now, if everyone switched to it, wouldn't be incredible. It wouldn't change everything, because then you'd find new things to have to hypothesize and work on, and then it's a continual development. Every sport continually develops in strategy, because players and people figure out new things based on the new strategy. It's a continual game of refinement, and that's what's missing in this game. And when you come out with this information, people are very against it, and they'll ask for proof, even though they don't have any proof that their method works, and they don't have any stats on their method. So anyway, that's just something I wanted to show you as I get into this. So this is a deposit, and I honestly thought they were trolling at first with this, and I actually did say, but they've been called, they want to learn, and okay, fair enough. They want to learn, they want to get better, but they want evidence. But again, I want evidence that their method works, because I know my method works, because I did the stats, but they may not know that, so that's fair enough. So let's go through these comments one by one, and this could give insight. But the reason I'm doing this, guys, and it's no hate on a deposit, but they specifically said this wouldn't work in Jam 2. For someone who's wanting to learn and wants to get better, you wouldn't really say that, in my opinion. I got to be honest, you wouldn't say this won't work. You could say I'd be surprised if this works, but I'd like to see it. But you're telling me something won't work and you have no data, you have not tried it yourself. To me, I know you're saying you want to learn, but that's an ignorant statement. Because you should say it could work. And granted, people could say, well, that's a language thing. Fair enough. But I'm just saying what I feel. People are coming to me saying these big, bold statements, and we can see that they may not understand the game as well as they think they do, but they're the ones spreading this sort of information. So granted, you want to learn, but if you want to learn, I would suggest maybe you've done this to try and learn, but listen to what I'm saying, learn from what I'm saying, and don't try and get got-yas. Try and actually understand and reflect why, and you're going to find out why. So you do play faster and sneak up for the risky 50-50s, not like in Diamond. Just respawned, coming in. Now this player's just turned off. This ball's coming across here. I actually feel that this player might miss this ball. If this was Diamond, I'd have a free ball. I wouldn't actually take the 50, I'd just jab it. They do hit the ball, and they basically pass it to this player, opening the middle up. So now I'm in a wrong position. I don't have time to shadow because the net's open, because I'm in the wrong position now, because they hit that ball to the opponent perfectly. Which is one of the risks at these higher ranks, is that people hit the ball more, but they still have the same game sense and the mentality that's been passed on through people who haven't done any research. And I cannot stress that enough. We've got to be really careful who we listen to. So the ball comes down, I have to take this 50. Notice I try and turn my car side on as possible to ensure that I win as much of that 50 as possible. The reason it doesn't work in the same manner is because I get hit by my teammate, which pushes my car down. So just keep that in mind. So that's that. That's why I take that 50. And this is another 50. Oh, different game. Yeah, again, this ball is no longer central like it was in the Zen one, where it's more tucked into the wall. It's now coming out. So you would go and challenge this ball because you're first versus last, and it's quite a dangerous ball. But even if you lose it, it's better than waiting in net and getting pot-shotted. People don't understand that, and I've been explaining it through this series. The reason we funnel into the corner and we wait in net when the ball's in the corner is because it's safe. If the ball's not in the corner anymore, being in the net isn't the best thing. We either have to go, which we don't want to, or we shadow save. But that is because first man's just overdoing it in defense, which is what I've been talking about. You stay in positions you didn't in Diamond. Okay, let's have a look at this, because I feel I haven't changed anything. I gotta be honest. So I'm in the middle as second man, and I'm giving up space as second man, and I'm not trying to push in as second man. This is all the same. Yeah, this is all the same. The ball, this guy's out of position because he's not behind the line, and he's pushed forward, just like we saw Monkey Moon do. Even, best game sense, and that's why I'm saying this. I love Monkey Moon. I think he's brilliant. You see how he shadows out of defense instead of forcing it. But in defense, sorry, out of offense, but in defense, when people are there, no one is going into net. The actual only player that does is Vatira and Squishy. We're seeing a little bit more of it coming in. We are seeing a bit more from Monkey, Ruaz as well. People say, who's the best defender? Everyone says Ruaz. But then they always say, and he's the best in-net defender. And no one seems to have clicked that, yeah, he's probably the only in-net defender. That's why he's the best at it, because he's actually positioning. So Nameless is moving away. So this guy hits the ball away from himself, similar to what my teammate did earlier. It's a free ball, isn't it? So I will take that, and he's still the last man. So if I can use that ball as a weapon, I can force him to do something that could lead to a goal for my teammate. He actually does a good job blocking it. But again, I get straight back to the middle. Yeah, so that's all the same. I don't think there's any difference there. And this is why I questioned if you're trolling, because I feel you're trying to find things that aren't actually there to prove your point, even though you haven't even proved your point. It's like, if you want to learn, I get asking questions 100%. I get pointing things out. But I feel you're doing it in the way that you're saying it like you're right when you're not. You know, having good control is mechanics. Example of a good, yeah, I've said that. I've said the fundamental mechanics are the ones you want to be working on. Hence why I've released Grounded. Hence why I released Lockdown with all the training packs. Hence why the first thing I released was a mechanical fundamental course, the belt system, to help people on their fundamental mechanics. And the fact that you're saying that this is good mechanics of a catch and flick as a Champ 2 player is exactly why I'm saying that Champ 2 players should not be spinning around ring maps all day. Because if you're struggling with this, what's the point of spinning around? Let's have a look at this. So, first of all, go into the corner this time, and I fake it because they've got a second man. But their second man is not behind the goal line. This changes everything, like I've said all the way through. Now, my whole mindset is thinking offense. I'm thinking to trap this player. So I get close to the ball to force this guy to dive forward, which I've told you not to do as first man. Keep mobility. Again, these are in the book, free download. Literally, every time you see one of these goals happen, go through the checklist. Did first man dive in and lose their mobility? Yes. Perfect. Did second man sneak out of net? Yes. It's a goal then. It's like a goal 90% of the time, even at the pro level, because it's just the statistics of the game. Soft touch, quick flick. If you're finding that mechanical, if you're finding that difficult, don't move on until you can do it. Simple. A good example of that here is 458 when you try and catch the ball but miss by a 3/4 car length. So you place the ball into a dangerous position for your teammate. I doubt this is true. Let's find out. Okay, so teammate's gone away. Now, why would I catch this ball? Why would I catch this ball? If I catch this ball, isn't he just going to come and challenge me by the time I actually take control of it? So I'm going to basically be a golf tee. So I wouldn't want to catch this ball, would I? Because if you were really listening to what I'm saying, you would know that you should defend in defense to try and get the ball into corner to get map space to then take control of the ball. I have not changed those words. This is completely true. My mindset here, because I'm still technically in defense, would be to get this ball into the corner. Bunk. There it is. Second man is out of position. Because why? They're pushed out of net. And if they would have done the fundamentals and just gone into net, I could stay with this ball, block it, get a counter, we could build up together. This is basic strategy, guys. It's like happening everywhere. Pro scene, whatever. It's everywhere. So what happens is this player puts himself into a bad position, not me. Right. The ball is being 50'd in a corner or a sidewall situation. Statistically, where will that ball go? Central. We know it will, because there's so many areas that ball can go central. It's math, it's physics. We know that's going to happen. So I'll instantly go into the middle now, because lo and behold, that's exactly where the ball goes. But none of that would have even existed, and this wouldn't be a dangerous ball, which it now is, because it's pinching, and this guy could come in and shoot it. And this is why, by the way, following down the wing works for players, is because the second man is trying to get involved and they just push it back into them. And they do this, it's all the pros and SSLs, it's mind-blowing that people still do this. So I can just come in and I have to block this ball. But luckily they dive nose forward and they miss the ball. The only time you've ever seen pros, you could argue, play at the true level was Gamers 8. Beast Mode and Daniel dominated Falcons in the finals. 14 face-out dives were done that game. 10 of them by the Falcons. Out of 14 face-out dives that were done unnecessarily, 1 of them landed. And when I say landed, I mean actually hit the ball. All others didn't even touch the ball. Your diving does not improve like you think it does. Because as you might improve on diving, players improve at touching the ball. So it doesn't work. Anyway, so yeah, that's actually the play I wanted. I didn't say that I tried to catch the ball and missed it. If I did, I could understand that. But you're assuming here because you're trying to force your narrative that I'm putting players in a bad position by playing passively, and you're completely not understanding what I'm talking about. There is no reason for me to catch a ball if they're still technically attacking me because I'm going to get dunked, demoed, and all sorts. My goal, as I've said all through this series, is to get the ball in the corner. A good example here is 1931 where the mechanics of catching the ball worked. As I tried to do that, which I didn't try to do. Again, I didn't say that I tried to do that, so I don't know why you're thinking I did. Again, stop trying to interpret things to make yourself sound right. Listen to what I'm saying and you'll learn. 1931, let's see what the difference is here. Okay, what's the difference? What's the difference here? What I've said all game. You can only pick up a ball and own the ball if you've got freedom of movement. This guy isn't behind the ball. That's why that's one of the most important stats in the game. By not being behind the ball, he's out of the play. If I play the ball into the corner now, it goes back to him. So I don't play the ball back to the corner. Now I go a little bit wider and I'll take the catch because now I've got free space. This is what I'm talking about, you know, and I'm hoping you're wanting to learn here because the difference between those two plays are massive. But if you start commenting and spreading that, other people might, you know, and fair enough, I don't know if you're doing it as a question or not. It seems like you're doing it as statements and you're telling me what I think when you don't know what I'm thinking, even though I'm trying to explain in these videos. So just be careful, okay? Where you should have questioned, why did you catch it here and pop that one into the corner? That's why, because where's the challenge here if I catch the ball? There isn't one. Now I've got freedom of movement, which is the whole point. And because second man has gone into the corner, which they do at pro level, you can drive it into the net. Just like what we just saw with Zen and Monkey Moon and all that stuff. Okay, another good example of how hard a good control touch here is 1658. Now, if you listen to this, I didn't say I miscontrolled this. I said I expected more from the opponent. 1. There you go. Leave it for teammate. My bad there. Honestly, expected more from the defender. That's my bad. I should have just left that go in. I expected more from the defender. I didn't say I did a miscontrol touch. Again, you are trying to force what you think's happening. And this is where, you know, you need to just listen to what I'm saying. What you'd see in a higher lobby is this player, which I'm doing whilst commentating, you're playing, try it. It's not as easy as it looks. This guy jumps, okay? And I expect, because I just see him jump peripherally, I expect he's going to clip this part of the board. So I'm going to shoot to this side of the board to push the ball to the corner and take it with me and steal their boost. He misses, so then I try and get back around the ball, but it's just too late. I expected more from the opponent. Didn't say I missed it. So just really don't try and get got-yous all the time and put these statements. You're not asking questions, you're putting statements. These are like you're trying to get me, but you don't understand. So if you're willing to learn, you know, leave the ego at the door a bit. Taking and understanding 50-50s is a mechanic. I haven't said it isn't. Especially when you jump and when to flip. I've told you when to do that all throughout this series, hence why people in the comments are ranking up. If you go on to YouTube and type in air charge dark grey belt, I've got a 50-50 video. The first rule I talk about in that video is being inside, and that's a 4-year-old video, so nothing's changed there. Shooting is a mechanic, really hard one. Good example of why you should practice shooting. Yeah, exactly. You should practice all this. This net was wide open. Dude just missed by a mile. He didn't really. This wasn't as open as you think it is. Like, it's off the kickoff. He's curved round. He's actually curved round back on himself. So his numbers are dropping by the second. But this shot, if it would have to pretty much be a good shot over the head. And if it was, it would go in. But it's not going to, because of the way they're coming in. So that probably is experience, but again, you don't want to just back off on a kickoff and get pot shotted because the ball is in the middle. So you've got to sort of shadow defend, like I've been saying the whole way through this series. Right, opponent's first man not forcing the play, placing both of them in a bad position. Okay, so this sounds like it's aimed at me doing this as this guy, right? Now, hopefully, from what I've mentioned non-stop, which I have done throughout the series, but in this video, if you're not going to get it, you're never going to get it. Their second man is not behind the goal line. Monkey Moon, take 2. So when this comes in here, this guy should have come closer and got higher, so I couldn't see him. And then I don't know if he's going to backflip, which he could have. But now, he should have, because he's gone down, he should just stay in front of the ball here, so I can't challenge an attack. But he panic flipped, which is why I say don't panic in defense. Again, it's just fundamentals. But this guy's out of position. Do you remember that Monkey Moon play I showed you? Drives forward and you can just tap it around. People say that it doesn't work at pro level. It won't work at the higher ranks because of their mechanics. Tell me, is there much difference between this? Realistically, guys coming out of net, and I do that. And if we just go to, and what Vatira does here, because the first man doesn't go into net and they charge at the ball, like it's basically side on, which creates a gulf of space behind them. Is there really that much difference there? I don't know. I don't think there is. Right. So that's fine. The other reasons it works. So I don't know if you are on about the reasons this work. I'm a bit unsure, but people are not used to this kind of play style. This is the reason it works, is because it's statistically significant way of playing the game. You know, we are playing fundamentally sound and avoiding the stats and the things that people do that causes them issues. In my opinion, it's wrong to say they can flip reset if they can get the reset but have no control over the ball whatsoever. Even plats can get flip resets, but if you can't use it, it's pointless. Yeah, so why are you trying it in this rank? I completely agree. Why are people doing it then? You're agreeing with me. I don't even know if you know you're doing that. Does this player try flip reset then? Yeah. So why didn't they just air dribble that then? People go, well, because they want to learn and they want to get better. Well, not being funny, that's 1 rep in 5 minutes of gameplay. That's the first time I've had that opportunity to do that. If you want to get better, you're better off just training that mechanic over and over so you can get the reps in. If you're trying to do it in game, you need to already have it polished out of game. So, no, I'm not sure about that. Another thing on the metric behind the ball. This does not describe how slow you are. That's correct. That's why we look at behind the ball and speed. This describes what it states. How much time you spend on the... Yeah, that's correct. That's what it does. That's exactly what it means. That's why I've said it means, because that is what it means. Indirectly, it describes how much you play first and second man and how well you place your 50s. They end up behind you or in front of you. I think I've stated all this stuff. So I don't, like, in this episode, I think I did it stated. So I don't know. This is what I'm getting confused with. Is that just a recap of what I've said so people can find it easily? If your statement is you have to always keep the ball moving fast, I agree with you. It's incorrect. Okay. I've got a lot more statements than that. I'm pretty sure my statements are just follow the fundamentals, like the yellow brick road. On the statement, people tell me it's situational. It's not. I strongly disagree. It is situational. When to catch, when to shoot, when to start a dribble, when to go hard clear versus controller, when to speed up the play, etc. You contradict yourself in the video. So technically everything is situational. It's the same situation. That's still situational. I think the problem is, right, when to catch, when to shoot, etc. That should be quite obvious. If the net's open, shoot it. And I'm pretty sure I actually went over the different things you should do on, I think it was episode 1. Pretty sure I covered exactly that. Like if they're this close, do that. If they're that close, do that. So I don't really know what to say about that because that is correct. But you will never learn that if you just keep diving face forward, will you? Because you'll never even have the time to do that. Let's see. I contradict myself. Let's have a listen. It's now their last version. Take that 50. Just on the inside here. Got to be careful. But we have. Okay, so kickoff just happened. We've always had it. We gonna lower this. We know that my teammate just got the boost, so I know this guy's on 0. So want to sit inside here. I'm last. They are now also last. I've got 37 boost. They're on 0. They're coming from the side. And guess what position they're in? The outside position. So you can 50 if they're on the outside position, like I've said. So I will. And I side flip to the open space to win that. So it's not, I haven't contradicted myself. That's literally what I've been saying all the way through this. You know, I would normally shadow if they had boost and like it was dangerous and they had more control of it, but they don't have any control of it. That's basically into space. It's not really contradiction. Let's have a little read of this. In this rank, most people don't have good controlled touches to take it properly in the air. Low rank players try to force aerials way more than needed, causing bad positioning and open net. That's why playing slow feels like it's working. I mean, feels it is working, isn't it? Can't feel like it's working. If you are winning games playing this method, then it's working. It's not going to feel like it's working. It is working. You know, we got to really make sure we're getting this right. Since you just refuse to go up for plays and do 90% of ground plays instead, as you should. But yeah, so you've agreed with me. I would say Rocket League is like paddle. You play defense trying to hit a ball into a place where the opponent has uncomfortable position to receive a ball, so you play for their mistake. So you should position yourself into attacking position close to net, and then you play the point to score. I'm not sure. I just feel like maybe make some of these questions, but you can go on any replay. Literally, I just can't get replays to work. If you can get any pro replays to work, just go and test. Go and see how many times the second man is just pushing forward for no reason that it ends in a goal. Just see it. See how many times they go for stuff that is because to me, I suppose I do have I did have the statistics on my side, but to me it's just so blatantly obvious. And I feel like apart from the other people who watch this channel and clearly see it and, you know, message me saying that, you know, they've got it and it's like, whoa, had the epiphany. To me, it's like, I don't get it because I can see it so clearly and it feels like I must be in a different world than everyone else because they're just putting themselves constantly in bad positions, even at the pro level, to hopefully get good at bad positions, which doesn't make sense. I mean, you're going to tell me that Zen's the best mechanical player in the world and the best. Well, how did he miss the corner play then? And if he's missing it, what good are you going to do? I mean, we got to get real in this game. This is becoming a bit silly now. There's a clear way to play this game, and I feel like out of all the esports, Rocket League's the most far behind. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. You look at other esports, they like Tekken and stuff. They have statisticians work out the frames and everything to know what sort of strategy to go into in each match, depending on what character they have. Like, there seems so much more. In Rocket League, it's just play fast and smash the ball and try and get mechanical. I don't know what it is. It's just very hard. It's very behind where it should be, in my opinion, Rocket League. But no, guys, listen, at deposit, no hard feelings at all. But just like, show me your stats. Show me all the research you've done. I'd love to see it. That makes you so confident in your play style, and, you know, less confident in mine, which is why you say it won't work. Even though, by the way, the first series me and Ray did, you look at our stats when we were GC3 Div 3. We were literally like moving, I think we were moving like 40 and beating people who were winning like 75. We proved it over and over, and we have been for years. It's just been continually proved over and over, but there's still people just refusing to believe it, which I don't get. But hey, that's the way the world is. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Look after yourself and peace out. Peace.